Coach's Corner is your source. Baseball, football, soccer, and hoops. The Coach's Corner has the scoop. It's the Coach's Corner with Andy.
Covering Tri-State sports, it's the Coach's Corner with Andy on 92.1 The GOAT.
It's the Coach's Corner.
Hey, I'm Andy with the Coach's Corner, and I have Corie Whitworth here with me this morning. And Corie is the girls varsity basketball coach at Clear Spring High School. This is your first inaugural season, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Awesome. You have a little bit of a coaching background as well here within the Washington County area. You did a little coaching in the, for Rotary in the Junior League basketball
Yes, sir.
league and Northern Middle Girls basketball as well, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, awesome. So are those your two coaching backgrounds? Did you start in 2022, or do you have any coaching experience before that?
So, honestly, I've been coaching in some capacity since I was about 18 years old. Immediately out of high school, I volunteered to coach for the middle school Northern Middle program back when one of my friends' dad was the coach, and we helped out with him. And since then, I was involved in coaching basketball in some capacity, whether it be for the YMCA, coaching all age groups from 4 to 6 all the way up to the high school program. And then, we go into Rotary. And that's how I got introduced to Junior League, was from a parent from the YMCA. She's like, I think you would be good. You need something a little more competitive. So we reached out to the president, and he loved it. He loved what he saw. So I started with Rotary in 2022, but at the same time, I was doing individual training sessions and lessons with players on their own. So it's always been some type of coaching, whether it be a team, an individual, clinics, there's always been some type of coaching.
Awesome, that's cool. You played a little bit of basketball as well through your high school years, St. James for 2 years, and then you played at North High.
Yes.
I'm assuming up to graduation.
Yes, sir.
And so, what position did you play? Hold on, let me guess. I'm gonna guess since you seem to have that coaching mentality, point guard.
Not quite. So
No?
I would play like a 2-3.
Okay.
I was a little more aggressive, but I was quick enough that I could get up and down the court.
Okay.
So I sometimes played down low, sometimes played up top, just depend on where the personnel fit that day.
Gotcha. So LeBron James.
Pretty much, without everything else.
Without all the dare I say drama, but no,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
I talked about this with somebody the other day. He's really come a long way in the league, and I used to not hate watching him play, but when he was younger and that flashy play and bringing the drama along with it, he's matured a lot over the years, and it's cool to see that development. But did you prefer the 2 spot or the 3 spot more? Did you like the outside shooting, or did you like to play down low?
I would say I'd like to play down low because, like I said, I was super aggressive. So it was nothing for me to go up for a layup, get fouled, and I'm going to the free throw line.
Yeah.
So, I come out with a 3-point play regardless, if I'm lucky to hit the and one. But I preferred being in the thick of it all, getting down and dirty under the basket for sure.
Old school.
Yes, definitely.
Everything's transitioning to, the 3-point shot and
Oh, yeah.
all that outside shooting, which is fun to watch too. But you got to like the players that get down low and, work for the basket. I like that too. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So you did a little bit of track and field too at Mount St. Mary's. Is that right? Did you play any basketball in college?
Actually, no. So it's funny that I coach basketball because I went to school for track. But basketball has been in my heart since I started playing when I was 10 years old. I watched my family play before that. So it's been in my life for a very long time. When I went to the Mount, I knew that I was passionate about track. I knew that I could excel on the track, and that's where I wanted to stay. Track has a different kind of love-hate relationship with me, it's running. Who loves to run? But at the same time, it's that gratifying feeling of knowing that this was just my body doing this work. There was nothing else but my power and my strength. So I also liked that aspect of the trueness and the purity of the sport.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, track and field is a very interesting sport to watch. Not a lot of people really know too much about it. I mean, you think of track and field, you think of the Olympics. That's at least what my mind goes right to that. But high school
For
and
most
college track,
people.
yeah, high school and college track and field is can be a fun sport to watch, especially with every activity
Yes.
that's offered. I talked to a couple track and field coaches uh, here on the show before, and I was a little nervous when I did because I don't know much about it,
Yeah.
but they were some of the best interviews I've had because there's so
Yeah.
much to talk about. So,
There's so much
and
energy and
yeah,
emotion and intensity that goes into track. So you
exactly.
could talk about it for forever.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And like you said, watching the athletes just running in general it's amazing to see, and the stamina and
Yep.
athleticism that they all have. And that can carry over into other sports when you're in high school, it could
Yes.
benefit you in so many ways. So let's get into a little bit about the Blazers here coming up this season. Your guys' season starts on the 6th. Is that right?
Yes.
This
We have our
Friday.
season opener this Friday against South High.
All right. And it is on the road, right?
Yes, we are away for this
Okay.
game, but we're excited. It's not slowing us down at all. We're ready to go.
Awesome. So you guys, the Blazers finished 7-14 last season. A respectable finish.
Yeah.
How do you plan to improve the team as the new head coach going into this new winter season?
Honestly, I think one of the biggest things for our girls is the confidence they have within themselves. The skill set is there, the talent is there, the work ethic is there. But I see something in the girls that the girls don't see in themselves. And I think that if I can just bring that out of them and get them to realize, like, we are capable of more, we are capable of better, we are capable of winning if we do X, Y, and Z. I think if I can get them on board with that, which we already have since this summer when we started camp, I think that will be the difference. And it's already been noticed within the parents, within the school, the community, the difference in confidence that the girls carry, the way that they carry themselves on the court, the way that they maintain composure. I definitely think just getting them focused up here, I think that will be a world of difference.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches I talk to, the high school coaches, they talk about getting you can get so many players to buy in, and you're not going to always get those players that are strictly basketball players. It's a lot of kids are multi-sport athletes in high school, and they're playing basketball because let's be honest, there's really not that many choices of sports in
Not
the
at all.
winter. What is there? There's basketball, wrestling, and indoor track and field, right? Am I
And then
missing?
at Clear Spring, we're not even offered wrestling because it is a smaller school.
Oh,
So up
okay,
there
yeah.
for us, we're limited even more.
Yeah, and that's another disadvantage for the school, but it could be advantage for the other sports because you could introduce a new sport. A kid could discover something they love that they didn't know before.
It's funny
Um,
you say that
oh
because
yeah,
we did have a couple girls try out this year who have never played basketball before.
yeah,
And we liked what they saw, their energy, their intensity, that it matched what we were lining up with. And so they were a part of our program after tryouts.
that's awesome. And basketball is a one of the biggest team sports. It seems a lot individual when you're out there on the court. Each person scoring their own individual points, but you also get your points for your team. And bench players, players coming off the bench are key in basketball games because it's a tiring game,
Yep.
and especially in high school, um, the I feel like the intensity is a little bit more than I'm not going to say the pros aren't intense, but you know how in the pro game they slow it down
Yeah,
and take
I
their time.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I think, in these lower levels, high school, you get a little bit more competitiveness. Everyone is on more of a even playing field,
yeah,
so it's more grit in there. You got to fight for what's yours. You got to
hmm,
fight for what you want, and I think that's what makes high school basketball so intense and so intriguing because there is a lot of skill set at such a young age. There are very talented players in the game of basketball at a young age. And then you get 10, 15 of them in a gym, and you've got yourself an intense game going on.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of appeal in basketball, and it's easy to stand out, but at the same time, it's really hard
Yeah.
because there are so many basketball players, because basketball is such a team sport. So when you do find that group or that area where you feel like, all right, I belong here and I can work here and I can work hard, that's a different kind of team camaraderie that, it can be unmatched
Yeah.
sometimes. And I
Yeah.
think that's what sets certain teams apart. Having that energy, having that intensity, knowing that we're battling this together. I
Mhm.
think that's what makes basketball, I think that's what keeps basketball players around.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. So I played a little basketball, the junior league, Hagerstown Junior League, and I played a little bit through high school as well. I only played up to my sophomore year. I wasn't really that good, but I enjoyed the game.
Right.
But it was probably one of the most intense and physically hard sports that I've played, just because it's just for the conditioning in itself. And I played soccer all 4 years in high school, and I found soccer easier
Yeah.
physically than basketball, because you have the conditioning aspect, running up and down the court constantly. You have, when if you're a post player, you're down low, you're bodying people up, you're getting maybe beat around a little bit. It's a lot of different physical aspects put into one.
All at
Uh,
one time.
how do you prepare your girls for that? What kind of conditioning training do you do in like a Blazers practice on a typical day?
So typically we run a lot for that exact reason.
Those
Come fourth
suicide
quarter,
runs?
oh
Oh, man.
yeah, suicides, up and backs. I mean, we do banded suicides, we do all kinds of stuff because fourth quarter, when we're fighting physically
Uh-huh.
against these girls, our opponents, we also still have to be at our top game, at our top speed. So yes, we do run a lot. We do a lot of conditioning. I like to tell my girls, if we want to play at 100%, we're going to have to practice at 130%,
Mhm.
because how do we expect to reach that 100%? So I do make our practices a little bit more intense. We do run a lot more. I am teaching the girls how, I do have a track and field background, so I know how to move my muscles and use
Mhm.
my mechanics to their fullest potential. So I have been teaching the girls the proper ways to run, the proper ways to jump, to minimize injury and maximize what we're trying to get out of it. And they've bought into it. They agree. They didn't realize, oh, well, I really don't know how to jump. Oh, I really don't know how to run. Oh, I really don't have good form. And now that they're seeing it, it's waking them up and they're like, I felt this was wrong, or coach, this wasn't right, or I messed up this way. So now they're in a space that they can hold themselves accountable, push themselves past points that they didn't know that they could push themselves before.
Yeah.
And this is just me setting our standard. This
Yeah.
is not even us getting into it. So I think if I keep pushing them and making them realize we've got to be physical while being basketball players, we've got to be runners while being basketball players, we've got to be jumpers while being basketball players, realizing that it's more than just being a basketball player, they're like, okay, I got
Yeah.
this. I can
Yeah.
get into this.
Yeah. And even when they get into the games and they're, like you said, it's the fourth quarter and they're running circles around the other team because they're
They
the
don't even
top.
realize it.
Right, exactly. And they'll probably just find it easy. Like, oh, this is going right. But that's because,
Yeah, we had a
that's
scrimmage a
how you
couple weeks
practice.
ago and we watched the film and I told the girls, like, look at you guys in this quarter. You don't even look tired. And
Yeah.
then they realized, oh, yeah, we weren't tired. They didn't even realize that they weren't
Yep.
tired in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So I think that we are definitely taking the steps to get where we want to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have a couple players on the players to watch list for the
Sure.
Washington County this season. We'll start with Kaylee Hensley. She's a sophomore. About 6 points last season average. An assist per game last season as well. Kara Hoover, who was also a sophomore. About a little over 7.5 points a game, almost 3.5 assists per game with almost 3.5 rebounds. That's awesome numbers.
Yeah.
And then another sophomore, Abby Curry, about 10 points a game, about 6 rebounds a game last season. All great stats. How excited are you going into the season with such a young core that, have a great outlook?
Honestly, this was one of the things that was so appealing to me about Clear Spring. I'm a new coach. I'm a young coach. This is my rookie year, so to speak. And I have this team of young players. So that gives us a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to form bonds, form chemistry. The good thing is, I did have a bond with these girls before coaching them. I coached some of them in middle school. Abby Curry actually played for my Rotary team my first year. So I have watched these girls grow and develop from 8th grade up to now. So yeah, this is my new year, but I already have learned them. I already learned some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses. And coming into summer camp when I got hired, we were immediately able to just dive right into it, go right into it because we did have that relationship. I did have an idea of what was going on. I don't think it's necessary for me to do anything more with those girls. The skill set, they have it there. The IQ is there. They have it. All we need to do is fine tune and tweak.
Mm,
What little tiny things can I change to make this that much better, to make it
yeah.
that much more effective? And I think that the girls had a trust in me already, and I had a trust in them. So we were able to work off of that bond to start and really say, like, Coach, this is what I need. Or I was able to say to them, this is what I need from you. This is what my
Mm,
expectation is. And there was no gray area for us. We were able to say, this is what it is. This is what we have to do. And this is what we're going to do.
yeah, that's awesome. And comfortability for a player going into something like that is, key as well, since a lot of them know you or know of
Yes.
you. I'm sure that it's going to help immensely for your season. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what the Blazers do. If you want to come check them out, they're kicking off their season at South High on Friday night. Does the game start at 6? Is that what we
6
said? I think
p.m.
6
6
o'clock.
p.m.
All right, so we'll come out, come see Coach Corie here, and see if they can Blazers can get a victory to start off the season.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.